I won 50 million naira and I haven't told anyone about it and I plan not to. I don't know what to do. What can I do with it to never be broke again? I no longer want to work. I just want to travel. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Don't Go Broke Trying. I am your host, Reni. Today, we have an exciting Coinfessions episode. I know these are some of your favorite episodes. And if you don't know, Coinfessions are our coin confessions, and it's basically money problems that you all submit to us. And I answer them. But I never answer them alone. I always have an amazing guest. And today I have John Sacke. He is an investment advisor, portfolio manager, wealth manager at BMO Private Wealth, and I had the pleasure of working with him while I was there. And today he is going to be helping us answer these coin questions. So I'm really excited for him to be here. Hi, John. How are you?
Thank you, Reni. I'm fine, thanks. How are you doing
I'm
today?
doing well. Do you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Thank you. I'm John Sacke, a financial advisor and portfolio manager at BMO Private Wealth here in Toronto.
Yes, and if you listen to the previous episode that we just did with him, he taught us a lot all about how to not go broke trying to manage your wealth. So I'd really love if you all listen to that episode before you listen to this one because I think you'll learn a lot about the value of professional advice. So today we're gonna do our confessions episode, as I said, and we have a few questions. A lot of you submitted questions this time when I told you a financial advisor was coming on. So thank you so much. And if you all would like to submit your confessions for a future episode, just use the link in the show notes. Just click on it, and it's an anonymous form that you fill out, and you can submit them there and tell us your money confessions. Tell us, go in depth, okay? We love hearing all the details so it's easier for us to answer your questions. And just so you know, none of this is financial advice. We are just telling what we would do in these situations. We're not giving you financial advice. Okay, are we ready to get into it?
Sure, I'm excited.
Okay, let's go. First confession. Okay. Okay. I won 50 million naira and I haven't told anyone about it and I plan not to. I don't know what to do. What can I do with it to never be broke again? I no longer want to work. I just want to travel. And for those who don't know, 50 million naira is about 124,000 Canadian dollars. So I'll let you answer first and then I will I will give my take.
Wow. I don't want to tell anybody about it, and I just want to travel
And no longer work.
and no longer work. So, wow. Okay, then. Nice
We
problem to
weren't,
have.
weren't expecting that one, right?
No, not really. So, a few things that you'd look at is number one, how are you going to pay for this?
Yeah.
In other words, what with what we call AML, anti money laundering,
Hmm.
and monitoring of cash,
Hmm.
you ought to create a credible paper trail.
Hmm.
Now, you've won 50 million naira in a lottery, there's paper trail around that. So, bank the money, work with an advisor or not to work out how long that money is going to last you for.
Yeah.
What's your age? What's your stage? What's your circumstance? And then I'm a big fan of travel, despite my fear of flying. Go for it.
Yeah.
Two things. You only live once, and you don't want to be the richest person in the cemetery. Don't be that person. Enjoy. Money is to be enjoyed responsibly.
Hmm.
Do you have to tell anybody? No. You may tell your spouse, you may tell your parents, you may tell your children.
Yeah.
Maybe. I hope you would. But go for it. And travel is a great thing to do.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think a lot of Nigerians are very, skeptical about like telling people when they come into cash because they know that all of a sudden they're gonna have a cousin, an uncle, an aunt saying, "Oh, I hurt my arm. I need X amount of dollars or X amount of naira." So I think that's probably why they don't want to tell anybody. But yeah, I would think you'd at least tell your spouse or somebody that you won this money. But I also want to ask, like, is that money gonna last you for the rest of your life? 50 million naira is not like, of course it's a lot to like to just come across, but $124,000, I don't think it can last you the rest of your life unless it's invested. Like, to me, it doesn't seem like you can just travel the world for the rest of your life on that amount of money. I think in a year or two, you would probably run out. Is that your thought as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I to me, it's like, and also, I don't know. Is there in Nigeria? Is there? Do people play the lottery regularly in Nigeria? I don't think. Do they? I don't.
Most countries, I would think, would have
Yeah.
lottery.
Really, I have never like. I literally have never heard of a lot of anything about the lottery in Nigeria. It's casinos, right? Oh, okay. Okay, maybe that's it. But yeah, to me, it seems like I don't see how you could survive on that much money for the rest of your life, depending on how old you are. But say you live like 30 more years.
No.
It's not
50
gonna.
million naira or 125,000 Canadian dollars. When you consider that a slice of not good pizza and a Coke is $10 now,
Yeah. Especially in Nigeria, the inflation is inflation.
inflation's very high.
Yeah.
Very, very high. The value of the naira or of the dollar is not that much.
Yeah, it's depreciating rapidly.
I'm going to Europe in the summertime to visit our son there, and not only have air tickets gone up by 60%,
Mhm.
but now they're charging $75 a bag.
Really? What
And this
airline?
is on an international flight.
Oh wow.
And this, by the way, is Air Canada.
Hmm.
Just saying. And all the airlines are like that.
Wow. Okay. Yes.
So $125,000 doesn't last long.
Unless you're living on 5,000 a year, like I don't really see how this is gonna last you very
Not
long.
at all.
Yeah, I would advise, as you said, going to maybe an advisor, seeing how long the money can reasonably last you, and then maybe setting up a plan from there.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Next confession. Hi, Reni. Hope you're doing good. I follow you on Instagram and I was just wondering if you also provide help to those who are struggling financially, for example, failing to save money. I am a 20-year-old female earning a yearly salary of about $60,000. I have a car loan of about $9,000 that I make bi-weekly payments of $97 on. I have two credit cards that are totaling up to $8,000. I have a TFSA and RSP, which is $900 and $2,000 respectively, and I have a random savings account that's only $200. With the amount of money that I make, I think my savings should really be more than that, but I'm here with a stable income living paycheck to paycheck because I'm paying off my credit cards. I need help on growing the little money I have and managing money as well. Is there any way that you can help? So,
There's a lot happening there to this person.
mhm,
So let's unpack a little bit of it. Lots of details there.
mhm.
$60,000
They make 60 a year,
goes really quickly,
especially if they live in Toronto.
especially if they live in Toronto.
Yeah.
And even if they don't, the costs of living outside the city are not that much lower.
Mhm.
The most concerning thing for this person, Reni, is credit card debt.
Yeah.
It's an absolute downward spiral.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure what rates of interest they're paying on this credit card debt, but for sure it's north of 25%,
Mhm.
which means that, yeah, you're going to have to push hard to get out of it. Doesn't matter how much is on the credit card debt. So this person is not going to be able to save any money. And my advice is pay off your credit card debt
As soon as possible.
immediately.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, work harder, get a second job, and or spend less. Sorry if I sound without mercy, but credit card debt is the downward spiral.
It really is.
And once you start on it, there's very little way of getting out of it. Contributing to an RSP, TFSA, all well and good, but no until the credit card debt is paid off.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement. I think that your it's great that you have your RSP and TFSA as you said, but the credit card debt is generating you'll get a higher return if you pay off your credit card debt first because say it's 25% interest rate on that, then you automatically once you pay it off you're getting a 25% return on your money, right? Whereas if you are investing, I don't think you're investing and getting 25% in your RSP year over year, right?
No.
Yeah, so it makes more sense to pay off your credit card as soon as possible, like rapidly, immediately. Is there any financial advice? Like, what type of professional do you think this person should seek help from?
Good question. I'd go to your local bank,
Hmm.
make an appointment with a financial planner, financial services manager. anybody, and see if they can restructure your debt. Credit card debt is the highest interest. And come up with a sensible payment plan based upon cash flow,
Mhm.
and try everything possible to increase cash flow. And that is maybe getting a second job,
Yeah.
as they say, a side hustle these days.
Yeah, I know. I think that may be very helpful, and it may seem like a huge stress on you to get a second job right now, but I think in the long run you'll be super grateful that you actually did get a second job, because the load that will be lifted off your chest after paying off that credit card debt will be worth it. Definitely worth spending all your time working for maybe 6 months. Yeah, because I don't think credit card debt is literally it's a killer. It's a killer.
Yeah.
It just compounds and compounds and compounds, and it's very hard to get out once you're deep in it. So I would say the first thing you want to do, clear out all that credit card debt. Yeah, as fast
No
as you can.
question.
Yeah. Okay. Next confession. Indecision is a decision. So I recently woke up from my COVID haze that I've been in for the last 3 years. I've been avoiding my car and I returned my leased car, which in hindsight I should have bought out for $18,000 that they were offering me. I've seen that spent all of that money, $18,000, and then some on all the Ubers and car rentals that I've had since then. Can you help me save me from myself? Should I finance or lease or buy outright in this high interest rate time? $20,000 is my car budget. Thank you. I love your platform. So this person, if I understand correctly, they were during COVID, they decided to return their leased car instead of buying it out. And now they've been spending so much more that the cost of the car that they returned is more than what they're spending on Uber, or less than what they're spending on Ubers and car rentals regularly. So they're just asking what do you think they should do? If they want to get another car, should they get another car? And if they do, leasing, financing, buying outright. Any suggestions on that?
Again, there's a lot there, and without knowing the caller or the subscribers' full details, hard for me to give cogent advice.
Mm-hmm.
But a few things that I would look to. Number one, a car is the worst investment one's going to make.
Mm-hmm.
$18,000 on Uber, etc., etc. I might suggest uh, public transit.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to
A
say.
lot of money to be spending, even if it is over a 2 or 3 year period. With respect to leasing and or buying a car outright, it's tough to answer without a full background and without understanding interest rates being higher now than they have been. What rate of interest will she be paying, or will this person be paying? That's another matter for discussion that I don't know about. But broadly speaking, if a car is what is required, I'd buy the cheapest car possible.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Again, as a money manager, a car is the worst investment one will make.
Yeah, a car is a liability. Mm-hmm.
And so those are some of the things that I would look at. I'm not a big fan of leasing a car because at the end of the day, you own nothing. You've got to give back the car and you're at ground zero.
Mm-hmm.
And although a car is a rapidly depreciating asset, at least a car that you have is worth something at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And a lot also depends upon what you deem important. People who lease cars generally lease a car that they could not afford to buy.
Yeah.
A more expensive car than they would have otherwise been able to afford.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big believer in having anything that you can't really afford to buy with cash. And I was raised, debt is bad.
Mm.
Only good debt is a mortgage. Every other type of debt is bad.
Really? Even student loans?
It's unavoidable if you need a student loan.
Mm-hmm.
But at least a student loan has hopefully gotten you good knowledge, and
Yeah.
knowledge is power. But certainly, credit card debt and car debt are horrible types of debt.
No questions asked. Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with you. I think that, yeah, $18,000 to spend on car rentals and Uber and stuff it seems excessive. Of course, we don't know your situation, but especially if you live in a city like Toronto, there is public transportation. It's not the best, I will say, but it's still available. So maybe that could be something you consider. You said that your car budget is $20,000 that you're considering for your next car purchase. do you need to buy a $20,000 car? As John said, maybe there are cheaper options that you can consider. And I would always tell you to consider a used car rather than a brand new car. It doesn't have to be super used, it doesn't have to be a 10-year-old car. But my car, when I got it, I think it was like a year old, 2 years old or something. So someone had already driven it. I didn't care. It really means nothing. But it's much cheaper than buying the same thing brand new. And it still works perfectly. So I would consider, as you said, buying a much cheaper option. Obviously, you don't want something that's so cheap that it's going to cost you a lot of money in repairs all the time, but something that makes, I don't know, $20,000 for a car seems excessive, especially like to me. And I agree,
Yeah,
leasing doesn't make any, to me. I personally would not lease a car. I would rather finance a car or buy it outright in cash. Yeah. But
that's right.
yeah, just my personal choice. Okay. Another coin question that we have. Hi, Reni. I'm wondering if there's such thing as a financial planner that helps you set up your day-to-day personal or family finances, but doesn't try to sell you any financial products. My fiance and I are getting married next year. We're both in our 30s and have built our separate finances in a way that has worked well for us and our individual lifestyle. Now that we'll be combining our incomes and blending our families, I'm not really sure how to do that in a way that's fair and works for both of us. He's very type A and regimented with his budgeting, while I have an organized chaos sort of approach. I rarely spend beyond my means, and I'm pretty thoughtful about how I use my money, but I don't budget per se. Traditional budgeting isn't that helpful for me because I never look at the spreadsheet, so I just set and forget my bill payments. Anyway, I'm wondering if there's any sort of financial doula or financial couples counselor who could help us merge our finances and family spending. Also, there are so many ways that people work out their marital finances, and I'm not sure what the right way is. For example, should we have a joint account? Should we have separate accounts? So here's some important info about us. I make about $90,000 and he makes about $190,000. He has two kids from a previous relationship that he still has 50% custody of, but he pays a lot in child support for. We're both homeowners, but we don't have a joint home together yet. We're getting a prenup to protect both our current assets and future inheritances. We hope to have two more kids together. Can you let us know if there's anyone who can help us figure out a game plan? Financial issues are one of the major causes of divorce, and I want a strong, financially healthy marriage from the get go. First of all, I want to commend this person for even thinking about this because I think a lot of people get into relationships and they're just focused on the love and that's it, all vibes, no nothing else. So, good on you. So, John, any thoughts on this?
So, to echo your sentiments, this person has really put a lot of thought into planning their financial trajectory. If I look back, I was married when I was 27. I had no idea about anything money related.
Mhm.
We just got married and somehow it worked out.
Thank God.
I'm very, very, very privileged, very lucky in that regard. So the first question I'd tell your listener is, why do they only want a financial plan and not management of their investments?
Mm.
The lady makes 90,000, the gentleman makes 190. Each has a property. He's got child support payments, maybe spousal payments. They want to have a couple kids together. There's a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of things that can go wrong.
Mhm.
You didn't mention insurance either, life and or critical illness insurance, two very, very strong and important assets. So question number one, what are they doing for financial advisory? I assume they have some RSPs and or TFSAs. And if they're working with an advisor, then have the advisor run a plan. This particular listener or reader, despite them not wanting to work with an advisor, would be an ideal client that I would love to work with because there's genuine value that we can add.
Mhm.
There are what they call fee for plan advisors. Do I know of any? No. But a Google search would likely yield some credible financial planners, and that's all they do.
Okay.
And yes, you might pay $5 or $6 or $7,000 for the plan,
Ooh,
but I'd argue it's steep,
but worth it.
but I'd argue worth it.
Mm.
Again, you get what you pay for. And without some type of a plan, it's anybody's guess how they should get there. Kudos on them for getting prenups.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good idea. They each bring disparate wealth, different circumstances. And that they've given it that much thought is a harbinger of good things to come.
I agree. I was so when I read this email to me, I was like, oh wow, I'm so impressed that they're actually thinking about this. But I think, what do you often see situations where the one partner is very into the finances and the other partner has no clue or doesn't care? Because or in this situation, it seems like they just have very different methods of managing their finances. As she said, he's very regimented, type A, and she's kind of like, oh, let's go with the flow. I don't budget. I just, so do you see that often with couples that you deal with?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm not seeing any consistency in approach. Some couples will each have their own account and then we'll have a joint account. Some couples will just have one joint account. And then some couples are very budget conscious. They have an Excel spreadsheet or they use third-party software. I think MYOB has some software. Mint has some software where they put in all their expenses and incomes and they chart it and graph it. And I'd say like this, whatever works for you would work. And your listener is 100% right, Reni, that financial strife, it's a big problem.
You see a lot of divorces that happen because of financial issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's good that they're on the same page. They're actually thinking about these things.
That's right.
Yeah, because most people don't. So maybe for the listener, consider reaching out to a planner. If you don't want someone who will sell you any financial products, you called it a fee for advice or
Fee for advice planner.
okay. Yeah. We don't know any, but maybe that's somebody who you could consider reaching
Yeah.
out to.
And there are those types of people. I just don't know of any.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, next question. Okay, this one is from Reddit from r/investing. What is the best question to ask an investment advisor? This will be my first time visiting and talking to an investment advisor. I have an appointment tomorrow. Here's what I know so far. She says, I only charge 1% per year for any funds invested. So $10 a year for $1,000 under management. I don't charge anything for building a budget or financial planning itself, and that she manages her own customer accounts. If someone could be patient with me and break down some of the important things here and what questions I should be bringing to her when I meet with her. So, what questions should this person bring to their financial planner or advisor? Sorry.
A few questions, and that's a very insightful discourse from Reddit. The advisor only charging 1%. The first question I'd ask is why only 1%? Why not 0.5%? Why not 1.5%? What's magical about 1%?
Okay.
And more importantly, what is the minimum investment amount that they're talking about? By nature of what you said, it doesn't seem like relatively much.
Yeah.
So if that person is bringing $100,000, the advisor only charging $1,000 for a financial plan, a budget, I guess trading, I guess buying, I guess time, doesn't sound like a very sound revenue model to me for the advisor.
Okay.
Again, you get what you pay for. Nevertheless, what questions should the reader be asking the advisor? Things like, what products do you buy?
Good question.
What's the size of your entire asset base under management? 5 million, 50 million, 100 million? Who knows? How long have you been in business for? What types of people are you best suited to help?
That's a good question to ask. Yes.
What's your average household size? What does your team look like? What does your support look like? Are you a sort of a solo practitioner, or do you work for a firm where there are more resources? And most of all, your reader should ask, or your reader should ask themselves, am I going to have fun working with such a person?
Mhm.
And 1%, to be fair, is very, very aggressive on what sounds like a very small portfolio.
Yeah. Yeah. I think maybe this was just an example. I guess we don't know what their actual portfolio size is, but 1% sounds aggressive.
It's aggressive.
Yeah.
But again, if it's a $10 million portfolio, I'd argue that 1% is actually quite expensive.
Okay.
But I need more information to come up with a cogent answer.
Mhm. I like the question that you said about what clients are you best suited to, or what, like, who's basically who do you specialize in helping? Because it's like, for example, there are lots of kinds of doctors, but if you need help with your eye, it's not, you don't want to go to a cardiologist for that, right? So I remember when I was working at the bank, I was always helping the advisors segment, like, who are you actually targeting? Are you targeting business owners? Do you help new professionals, young professionals? Are you focused on retirement? Like, who are the people? I know some advisors, especially in the prairies, they focus specifically on helping farmers, and like they were the go-tos for helping farmers. So you don't, I would, that's a definitely good question that you should ask them. Who are you best suited to support? Because it may not be
That's
you,
right.
right? And if it's not you, then maybe go to somebody else.
That's right.
Yeah. Another, okay. So some people, everyone was, um, and then what about the educational requirements? Like, is that something that you would ask them? Like, are you a CFP? Are you a CIM? Like, what are those the kinds of
Yeah,
questions?
I do get asked fairly frequently, what are your academic underpinnings or what licensing have you completed? And the beauty of it is that certainly you could go to IROC's public site, iiroc.ca, and there's a field on the right-hand side, search an advisor.
Mm,
You can search an advisor by first name, last name, and city. It's of the public record.
okay.
And there on IROC's site, you'd see all of said advisors' qualifications, all of said advisors, to the extent that there are any violations. It's all for the public to see.
Mm,
And I like that.
yes. I think everyone should look into that before you hire an advisor. Definitely look into that. Okay. We'll go through two more Coinfessions. So the next one is also from Reddit, and it's from r/personal finance Canada. Investment advisor versus financial planner. I'm getting married soon, and my fiance and I are looking at our finances. The current plan is to semi combine our finances, see how it goes. Her parents have worked with a CFP and that's certified financial planner for the past 18 years, and my fiance is going to work with them on her finances. She has some trouble understanding the world of finance. He is helping her learn the ropes and get her up to speed on what to look out for and how to plan for the future. My parents have worked with an investment advisor for the past 30 years, and that is who I have my investments with. My IA only looks after my investments and leaves me to plan for my future. I'm currently building up a self managed investment account. My question is, should I stick around with an IA or switch to a CFP? Her parents love their CFP because he's helped them adjust their plans to pay for their children's university education, vacations, as well as part of our wedding. My parents like their IA because they've seen good returns since they started using them. I like planning for my future, but I sometimes get stressed that I'm not doing enough, even though on paper I am. I feel like a CFP may help alleviate those feelings. I know most people say you shouldn't use your parents' guy, but both seem competent and have a small staff that look after things. So, what should I do?
Again, very detailed discourse from Reddit over there. And I'd say, like this, first question to be asked is, why doesn't the financial advisor do planning? They go hand in hand. If I were to drop the planning part of my practice,
It doesn't make sense.
it doesn't make sense. And if I were to do financial planning but not wealth management, that too doesn't make sense. They're so closely aligned that to do one effectively without the other, or not have the resources on one's team to do the other, is an Achilles heel,
Mhm.
in my opinion, Reni. Returns, you'd mentioned that the financial advisor's returns are good. Again, what is good? And what is the risk to make that good return? Nobody knows. And good is a relative term. On the other hand, the CFP, it sounds to me that they're getting married, which is what we call a life event. We know that financial stress unravels many marriages. And so in this case, I'd ask the CFP what their wealth management practice looks like, or to make a recommendation to another advisor that could work jointly. Because when all your trusted advisors are working collaboratively, the end result is a lot better. So I would go for the CFP in this case. That comes recommended.
Yeah. Yeah, because as you said, why is the IA not doing financial planning? It seems like that's, as we mentioned in the past episode, that's one of the most valuable parts of it. It's like you're creating a holistic wealth plan for your clients. So if they don't offer that, it kind of seems like, why would I go to this person? So maybe, as you said, the CFP works with an IA. They can recommend an IA for you to work with, and then you combine it that way. Yeah,
that's right.
Sounds like a good plan to me as well. Okay, we'll go through one more. Last Coinfession. This one is from Reddit as well, from r/personal finance. Okay. Financial advisor, personal investment manager questions. So I'm a young adult less than 25 years old, who has a financial advisor that manages a portion of my investments. My parents came across them via close friends who had highly recommended them. Having had good success with them themselves, my parents got in contact with me and them to set up an account. My question, I have both a personal general account with them as well as a Roth IRA, which is an account in the States for those who don't know. And when I first opened the account, money sat with them for months. I contacted them just asking essentially, hey, there's been money in this account for a while. I've been depositing as well, just wondering why there has been no investment activity yet. And they told me they were waiting for a down day in the market, which I understood. I've had the accounts for well over a year now, and while there have been some trades, there's still about $4,000 between the two accounts that is just sitting there as cash. For the IRA, he's only placed trades once, and only 4% of the cash in that account is actually invested into something. I understand that it's the that the norm I understand that the amount of money I have in these accounts is very nominal in the grand scheme of investing and relative to what some people have, but I can't help but feel like the money is not being managed very efficiently. Part of my rationale for investing was to try and protect my savings from loss due to inflation, but I don't think there's much benefit to the cash sitting in an investment account uninvested versus a savings account. I also understand that the advisor makes money when his client's portfolio do well because he takes a small percentage. So I wonder sometimes if he's busy enough with other clients who have more money invested and mine are on the back burner as a result. All said, I'm not a professional in finance or investment by any means. I just want to do right by myself and make smart financial decisions. So I'm asking here, does this sound like normal activity for managed investment accounts, or am I just expecting more involvement than is typical? Thoughts and advice are appreciated.
Again, lots happening here. A few things I want to key in on. Money sitting idle only helps the bank, not the client. There's no excuse why money sitting idle for months, I don't know, 2 months, 6 months, 11. That's not right.
Okay, good to know.
I'd say out and out forgetfulness, neglect, too busy, not so inclined, hasn't noticed, all sorts of reasons. Then when your reader asked the advisor, why is it sitting idle, waiting for a down day, that's called market timing.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Nobody can time the markets. And depending upon how long they've been waiting, we've had plenty down days.
Yeah.
And if you're waiting to get all your money vested on a down day, I think that's another very poor strategy. You might dollar cost average in if it's a significant amount of money. The final thing in the Roth IRA, you'd mentioned only 4% of the money is working. Well, that's insignificant what's working. 96% is just sitting, not in daily interest, not in bonds, not in the term deposit, not in anything.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like the advisor's too busy or just not caring. the thing that you should also bring to the reader's attention, or that I bring, what does the communication look like with their advisor? Weekly, daily, monthly, just by email? Are calls returned within a day, a week, a month? I don't know.
Mhm.
What else has the advisor done? Have they started estate planning, or planning wills, or putting together an investment strategy, or an investment policy statement, or a discussion about insurance or philanthropy or intergenerational wealth transfer? Doesn't sound like any of that's been done.
Mm-mm.
So I think they've backed the wrong horse, so to speak.
Mhm.
And I think it's time for a big meeting at the round tree to really understand if this is a relationship that's worth anything.
Yeah, to me, it sounds like, again, your advisor may have taken you on because you are a recommendation from one of their friends, and they're like, okay, I'll just take on this extra person. Their book of business isn't that big, and then they're just like, they just forgot about you somehow, or they're just being negligent. Because I don't know, 4% of your portfolio or of your cash invested seems ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculous to me. So I would, as you said, have a conversation with them. But I like, I don't know, maybe I cut things off too easily, but I would just think I would be wanting to pull my money out immediately from this
Yeah.
advisor. It's been months and no activity basically. Like to me, it doesn't even seem worth keeping your money there. You could have done better all by yourself in this situation. Putting it just in an index fund, I feel like you could do better than this person has done by you. And I feel like a lot of people, it's like the sunk cost fallacy again. You have put your money there. So you're like, okay, I already took all this time to fill out all these documents with this team. I onboarded that to their bank. You know, it takes time to do all these things. So you're probably like, okay, let me just keep waiting and waiting it out. But time is money, and your money invested is like you deserve to basically you deserve to have your money invested. And if you're going to be paying someone in order to invest your money, like I would think at least in the first month or so they would be making your money start working for you. So personally, if I were in the situation, I would just leave. I wouldn't keep waiting and waiting for things to change. I would have taken my money out by now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Agree.
it doesn't seem right to me. Yeah, I wonder how this happened. Do you know, like, does this happen?
Occasionally I might hear about it. Shouldn't happen.
Mhm.
There should be constant communication. Keep the client in the loop.
Yeah.
Transparency. Sounds to me like this advisor is just too busy or not so inclined,
Mhm.
and market timing cannot be done.
Yes, sorry, I forgot to harp on that point. My dad always says you, or what's that saying? It's about the time in the market, not trying to time the market.
That's right.
Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody knows exactly when they're going to reach the very bottom of the market. So the fact that they're saying, "Oh, we're waiting for a down day," not a sound strategy to me.
No,
No,
no.
no, red flag, red flag for this one.
Big red flag.
Yeah. Okay. So those are all the confessions we have today. Thank you, John, for answering them. Did you enjoy that?
Love the Coinfessions. And
Yes.
again, thank you so much for, so to speak, picking my brain. It's my
Yes.
pleasure to share my knowledge. I get tremendous enjoyment from it. And I hope that your readers and listeners and all the people that subscribe to your channel will have gained some meaningful knowledge,
Yes, I
because this
think.
is a business about knowledge, about keeping your eyes wide open and being transparent.
Yes, I think they definitely learned something from this and from our previous episode. So if they want to reach out to you, because they've seen all the knowledge that you have to impart, if they want to reach out to you to inquire about your services, how would they do that?
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn, all social media. My phone number is 416-590-7661. My email address is John, that's JOHN, dot Sacke, SACKE, at N for Nesbit, B for Burns, P for private, C for client, D for division.com. And my website is johnsacke.com. It's our BMO corporate website.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll make sure to leave all of that information in the description box below and in the show notes. So if you have listened to these confessions, you have any thoughts on them, you want to chime in and tell us what you think, we always post these on Instagram. So make sure you go to the Instagram page at Don't Go Broke Trying. And also make sure you go on Twitter, use the hashtag DGBT and just tweet us, telling us know what thoughts you had on any of these confessions. You can also share this on LinkedIn, on Instagram stories, on any platform, because we really enjoy hearing from you. And when you share it, it lets us know that you like the episode. So I would really appreciate that. Make sure you tag all of us, and I'll leave all the description, all the handles in the description box below. So thank you once again, John, for coming on. I really do appreciate it. And thank you all for listening. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.